why you all need to snuggle up to your little Zoom computers right now and really dig in. So Elizabeth, I got to talk to her a couple days ago, and I didn't want to let her off the phone, but then I was like, oh my gosh, you're going to do the whole interview now and just blow it for everybody else. So she is a mother of 4. She was 10 years with Keller Williams and decided to like jump and be a pioneer in EXP back in 2015. She was their 466th agent. Guys, imagine. So Brent Gove is in her downline. Let's just put it that way. Okay. She is a 5-time Icon Award. In fact, she was the first person in EXP, the first agent to ever actually win the Icon Award. 5 times she's done that, and she is on her way to number 6. What I love most about her is she is a self-proclaimed hot mess. And I can relate to that because sometimes we think it all needs to look perfect, and guess what? It doesn't always have to be perfect. So Elizabeth, with that little intro, is there anything else you want to say about yourself that you want us to know about you?
No, I'm just honored that I'm here and that you guys asked. And so I'm excited to get to know you all. I think that's what's so cool about our platform is that we get to connect with amazing talent and agents and people from all over the country. And it just opens my tribe. So thank you for letting me in.
Thank you for joining our tribe. It's nice to know that we can all be, even we're so connected, right? One of the major benefits about EXP. And so when Elizabeth and I were talking the other day, you know, what I really got from her was how to build relationships without selling. I really feel like that's your authenticity and that's your platform. So the first question I want to ask you, I want you to share with us, like, how do you pack it all in? Like mama 4, full-time real estate agent, like what's your secret? How do you pack it all in?
Yeah, so I mean, what you said with the authenticity is huge for me because I'm not going to do something that I don't believe in or I don't feel good about, right? I mean, that's just not my personality. And when you talk about being a hot mess, that's the case because I have no idea what each day is going to bring. And I'd love to be here and say, oh yeah, I time block and it's perfect. And I do this. And, you know, I start with my morning yoga routine and no, I haven't done any workout or anything since madness hit. And I've got 4 little ones at home and actually 2 just started in-person school today and 2 are here in the other room virtual. And, you know, I thought I was ready for this. And I mean, I broke down when I dropped them off on the way and I had to pull over the side of the road. So I'm kind of a mess, but it's just, I just take each day as it comes. I know what I have to do, right? And I can get a lot of things done. Multitasking isn't always the best thing, but here's what I do in the morning. Every single night before I go to bed, I look at my calendar so I can kind of mentally prepare for what I need to do. I mean, quite frankly, it's like, do I need to shower today or can it wait until the afternoon kind of a thing? Like if I am on Zooms or meetings or things like that. And so I just know what I have to get done. I treat each one of my clients like they're my one and only client. And so I just am like, okay, if I have 4 closings this week, what do I need to do and what do I prioritize? And I just do that on a daily basis. I live on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it does not exist. And so I have all of my kids' stuff on there. I mean, I have to have their drop-offs and pickups on their calendar because if it's not on there, I will forget them. I will forget somebody. But it also allows me, that's my world. My family and my kids are my world. And so I'm not going to let something conflict with that either. Right? I mean, I'm going to drop my kids off every day and I'm going to pick my kids up every day. And if something conflicts, I'm like, I'm sorry, I already have an appointment at that time. They don't need to know that has to do with my kids. So I just work around my why and I just make everything happen. I'm an individual agent, but I have a TC. So I rely on her a lot. And I just focus on the things that I know I need to focus on and I let her do the rest because for a long time I would kind of do what she was doing as well. And it wasn't productive and it was taking my focus off of things that I needed to be doing and it took away time that I didn't have. So I rely on her a lot more than I did and that changes my world. But the night before I just have to mentally prepare and just make sure it's on my calendar. I can't time block. Things happen all the time. And I don't want to say I can't time block. It's just, I know if I time block, things are going to move around and that makes me a little crazy. So I just have to give myself grace knowing things are going to move around on a daily basis and go from there.
I love that. So it's about every night looking at your calendar, making sure everything you need to do is actually on the calendar, and then mentally preparing for that day. And in essence, that kind of is time blocking, like what's my priority for tomorrow? And we'll circle back around to something that you said in the interview. And I love the fact that you can still take your kids to school, pick them up from school, do whatever you need to do for your kids. And you've actually figured out a way to do that and still be working and of service to your clients. And that's the secret sauce that we'll get to later. So cool, thank you. So you kind of shared with us what a typical day looks like for you. The other thing I love that you said is leveraging your resources, right? So letting go, you don't have to do everything, right? That's why we have a TC. Trust them, utilize them, delegate the work. I know sometimes I feel like if I don't do it, it might not get done right. So that's definitely a challenge for me.
That's huge because you think you're going to do everything best, right? Can I upload my documents into SkySlope? Absolutely. Actually, I can't because I don't even know my SkySlope password. But could I technically do that? Yes. Is that my best use of time? Absolutely not, right? And now Jen is my TC that I've had for 8 years, right? So I completely trust her, but she has to step in as well and say, I'm taking that off your plate. Don't even do this, right? So, yeah, you've got to delegate and you've got to let go of that control, which I'm kind of a control freak, but it can be a detriment if you're taking on too many things. So just figure out what's your best use of time and your skill set. Somebody had told me once, can you mow the yard? Yes. Can you pay somebody $20 to mow the yard? Yes. Is your time more valuable than $20? Yes. Then you need to be doing something that's proving your value. So when I saw that and I realized what my hourly rate would be, I was like, oh, I don't need to be mowing the yard. So it's hard for me to let go of those things, but it's also kind of like EXP, I could breathe a little bit more because I have so many resources and I don't have to do everything. And you can just take that sigh of relief and then be much more intentional and more productive in what you're supposed to be doing.
I love that. So prepare every night with focus and intention, prioritize. Wake up next morning and it might happen or it might not, but give yourself some grace. I love it. And so we're talking about building relationships versus selling, which is really interesting because we know as real estate agents, we are salesmen, right? At the end of the day, we are helping people buy and sell probably one of the most expensive assets they ever will in their lifetime. It's a sales job. However, it's really about the relationship and how you build these bonds with people where they want to use you again and again and again. And I used to joke that, real estate was 3-month relationships. And sometimes at the end of the day, I would love to carry those relationships on. And sometimes I didn't, and that was okay. But at the end of the day, you've got this sphere of influence, and we are salespeople, but how do you actually build a relationship? So I was hoping that you could give us some tips on that.
Yeah, everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold, right? If you cold call me, you've lost me. You're not speaking my language. And so for me to get on a phone call, KW, what really was a turning point for me was I was at one of the top market centers in all of KW, right? In Austin, Texas, especially. And the owner of our market center she was actually the president of the company at that time. And we were in a back meeting and I ended up we had 650 agents and that year I was #1. Now I don't track my numbers. I had no idea I was going to be #1. All I know is it almost broke me. And I told my husband I'm getting out of the business. And we were in a meeting and he's like, you love this. And I go, not anymore. It's taken my joy. And we were in a meeting with the president of the company and she said, are you in coaching, Matt's coaching? And I said, no, because I don't want to do knock on doors or cold call. And she looked at me, she goes, you don't believe in your business then. And right then I knew we're not aligned anymore because that's not my love language, if you will, right? If you cold call me, I'm not going to respond. But if you truly build a relationship with me, I'm going to be loyal to a fault, right? So NAR statistics show that 83% of buyer or agents do not stay in touch with their past clients. To me, that's crazy. So instead of being one of the 83, I want to be one of the 17 and build a relationship. So every month, I touch my clients 3 times a month in different ways. I'm not sending them real estate stuff. I'm not sending them stuff about how great I am or my accolades or my numbers. Again, I don't know my numbers. So that's not important to me. What I'm sending them is fun stuff that makes me memorable, right? They're going to throw away all your marketing. I tell people this all the time. I teach a class in the world once a month on Thursdays called Marketing to Your Sphere, because my business is 100% referral. So I want to be memorable. As they're throwing away my marketing, I want it to make an impact. So if you're going to be just like all the other agents and sending out market stats that may or may not relate to their home, right? It's not impactful. But if you're sending things and wanting to get into relationships with them, then it makes a big difference. So once a month, 12 times a year, I send something physical in the mail. Whether it's, you know, Halloween's coming up. So I always send something to their kids, whether it's Frosties and Happy Halloween cards from Dollar Store, or whether it's glow sticks from your favorite real estate agent, or in March, you know, a lottery ticket saying you don't need luck in real estate, you just need Elizabeth Riley on your side. And when you win big, call me to buy your next, you know, next dream home. Things like that, because they never know what I'm going to send. So they're not going to throw it away until they open it. But I'm in front of them all the time, every single month, like clockwork. And then I don't spend a lot of money. I tell people, don't spend money till you're making money, but don't spend a lot of money on this. It just needs to be impactful and powerful and memorable. It doesn't need to be expensive.
And because at that point, you're just getting in front of them, right? You're just getting in front of them.
It's the consistency. Now, I will send out market stats in Texas. I'm in Texas, and so we have property protest periods of the year, or homestead exemptions, right? I will send all that information out too, because it's relevant and it's you know, it affects them individually, and how can we help you and how can we run comps and things like that. But I'm sending them something once a month. I'm sending them a newsletter, which isn't really a newsletter. It's more of an email about, hey friends, how are you? I was walking, you know, out of the bank the other day, and, you know, we're all in masks, right? And a gentleman said, you know, I said, have a good day. And he goes, have a good day on purpose. And then I just start talking about, what does that mean if we all had a good day on purpose? So I'm just having a conversation with my clients like I would be sending an email to a friend, right? And I'll put a picture of me so they feel like they know me. They know my family. They know what's going on. It's not, oh my gosh, Elizabeth's, you know, going to talk about real estate run. They all know what I do. I have 4 kids and I'm really involved in their schools. I want them all to know that I'm going to support the community. I'm going to support, you know, their initiatives. I'm going to be involved whenever they need that, but I'm not going to try and sell them. So I send them an email, again, on MailChimp, it's free, or any of those platforms is free. And then once a month, I reach out to them, whether it's, well, I'm not doing this so much because I can't because of COVID, but whether it's having a cup of coffee or having a lunch. But regardless, I have a list of my database printed out in my car. I'm old school. I don't really do techie stuff so much, but I'll go down the list. Allie, hey, how are the girls doing back at school? I was just thinking about you. Just wanted to say hi. Nothing about real estate. And I go down B, C, D. I do that all the time, just checking in with people. Or if I see them on Facebook, hey, I saw, you know, like a client of mine, her mother fell. She lives in Germany right now, but the mom is here in Austin. I sent her a note today going, what can I do for you and your family? I'm here on the ground. What can I do? So I'm in relationship with them. And so when they know of anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest, they think of me. I write a lot of handwritten notes. That's really inexpensive, but consistency is the key, and being authentic is the second part.
And so that's the piece that I was talking about. You really made an impact with me about that. The fact that I'm not going to compromise my family. I'm not going to compromise who I am. I'm going to be the best mom and the best real estate agent I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print that database and I'm going to stick it in my car, and I'm going to go down the ABCs. And every time I've got a free moment here and there, I can contact my clients and be in relationship with them. Some people still do answer phone calls, right?
I don't call people. See,
Nope.
That's the other. I don't call people. I don't want people. Here's why, because I'm and I probably need to get out of my way. I need to get out of my head, right? Because if I don't want somebody to call me if I'm in the middle of something, or if I don't have a reason to call. I don't like talking on the phone. When my mom calls me, I'm just like, okay, what is it you need? I'm not one of those people that wants to talk on the phone, right? I have a lot of things going on. My head's racing. If I'm in the car, I'll voice text, you know, go down the list. Allie, hey, just thinking about you, what's going on? And I'll voice text. I don't want to just get in a conversation. I don't know if I'm interrupting something or bugging them. You know, I don't want to be an inconvenience. So I don't get on the phone, but I'll do voice text all the time. Or if somebody calls me, I'll answer the phone. But I just don't like being called out of the blue, so I don't do the same thing.
Yeah, the world's kind of changed. It's almost like an imposition, right? So now there's this whole cultural shift mindset of you drop in on the text, do you have a minute? And sometimes
Right.
it's nice to pick up the phone and have that conversation. However, again, that's just you getting in front of them again.
Yeah, during pandemic, so that I switched that a little bit. I mean, all of us were at home, and so I was just calling and checking on people. I had a reason to call. You know what I mean? Like if I don't have a reason, then I feel like I'm holding back and I'm not being authentic. It may not come across like that, but during the pandemic, I wanted to check on all my clients. So I literally went down my database, 350 people. And I just each day would call them, hey, I'm just checking in on you. How are you doing? I mean, the world has changed. Is there anything I can do to support you? And that was great because it gave me another reason to call, and it took time. But yeah, just figure out what's best for you and how your clients respond. I mean, a lot of people might not respond to text. A lot of people might really want text. Just, you know, your clients, you know, your people, you know how to, get into that relationship. You just need to do it.
Right. Thank you. I love that. And so aside from building relationship, what else do you think has made you so successful, Elizabeth?
Oh gosh, every transaction, I mean, I feel like it's my one and only transaction, and it's like my house, right? And one of my clients calls me killer because I'm relentless and I'm going to get the best deal and represent my clients well. And for example, I mean, this was a kind of a funny story. He came from California, and we negotiated hard on this property, and we got it, and we were in the inspections, and my guy said, okay, these are the things that are important. Well, I went above and beyond because I'm like, well, there's all these things I know are important. Let me see what I can get. So I came back to him, and he told me, he goes, oh my gosh, what are you? He goes, maybe you should be a treaty arms negotiator. And I said, no, I just like to kill him with kindness. He goes, I just like that you kill him. So ever since then, he's called me killer. And he's referred a ton of people to me. He's like, listen, she is awesome. She knows her stuff. She's experienced. She will go to bat for you. So that referral and that word of mouth is powerful. So if I really do my best for my clients and treat them like they're not another transaction, right, that makes a big difference. The other thing is agent to agent relationships. I'm not a recruiter, right? I don't recruit. I'll attract agents. If people are seeing who I am and they see my business and they want to come to the company, that's great. But the agent to agent referrals, I mean, not referrals, but relationships are huge too. Because if I'm up against a multiple offer situation, I want those agents to be, aware and know, oh my gosh, Elizabeth is great to work with. She's fair. She's easy,
right?
Because we all have those agents that I'm like, don't put your offer in on my listing because it's not going to go anywhere, right? I don't want to be that agent. And I tell people all the time, clients are going to come and go. But agents, we're all working together, and the good ones stay, right? I mean, I've been in business almost 16 years. I already went through a downturn, and we know those that are going to stay. So I really focus on my clients like they're my one and only, but I really respect and protect that agent to agent relationship too, regardless of brokerage.
I love it. So really taking ownership and accountability for every single transaction like it were your own. And I do have a team. And one thing I always tell my agents when they come to me and ask me a question is, what would you want if it were your home? What would you want if you're buying this house? Because that's how we should come at it. So I love that you said that. And so you've been in the business for 16 years and you've seen the downturn. You lived through the crash of 2008. You spoke a little bit about supporting your clients through COVID and this pandemic, and it's something that's kind of like taken everybody off kilter. And I know that it was difficult reaching out to some of our clients because it's such a touchy time, right? We don't really know exactly how people are feeling. How do you feel we're at right now? And do you have any advice for us? I don't know if we're coming out of COVID. I don't know the right terminology, but we're definitely getting so much traction and the market is great. And we know that we're kind of being held together by a bunch of stimulus money and things are going to change rapidly even between now and the end of the year. So do you have a game plan, or is there anything that you can share with us in getting through the rest of the end of the year?
Yeah, all I can say to that is I just take one day at a time, right? And I take each day with grace. I hate video and I hate Facebook video and things like that, but I actually did a video today because like this morning I was so overcome with emotion, which isn't usual for me. And I think it's because I'm always going and I don't have time to really stop. And then all of a sudden I dropped two of my kids off And I thought I was prepared, right? I thought I was ready for 2 of them to go in person because mental and all this other thing. And I just realized, holy cow, am I making the right decision, right? And here in Austin anyway, it's very sensitive. And there's a lot of judgmental stuff going on. And there's a lot of people that I'm seeing that have had long-term relationships that are letting those fizzle out over this when we should all be coming together. And so I just did a video. I was just like, it hit me because I said, we just need to give each other grace, right? So my video wasn't real estate related so much, but I said, for those of you that are sending your kids back in person, good for you, right? For those of you that are staying virtual, good for you. You know, whatever decision you made, I know that was hard.
Yeah.
And we just need to give each other grace and have grace for ourselves, because what we're all going through is unprecedented, right? It's not just one part of the world. It's not one part of the state. It's not one part of the nation. It's the entire world that we all are trying to navigate this together, and nobody knows really how to do that. And so for me, I check in on people. I mean, it's easy. People are like, what's a script? It's not a script. Hi, how are you doing? And just approach each person, because you don't know how they're handling things, right? You don't know if on the outside they're holding it together, but on the inside they're lonely and falling apart. My neighbor next door she's a bitter little crabby old woman that lives there by herself, and she's just negative about everything. And what I had to realize was, I don't know what she's gone through in her life to be bitter, right? So I could be short and ugly to her when she yells at me for parking in my own driveway, right? Or, I mean, whatever the reason is, or I can just respond to her with grace and take a deep breath saying, I don't know what she's going through, but if I can be positive, or I can just drop off a little flower or a little note, just, hey, I'm just thinking about you if we can do anything. I just take each day at a time. And I'm aware of my surroundings, and I'm aware of conversations, and I do not engage in the negativity. So easy to do, but it's exhausting. And I don't really have the mental or physical bandwidth to focus on the negative. I choose to focus on the positive. So that's all I can say, whether it's in your personal or business life. That's what just keeps me going. And again, Glenn said, we were prepared, right? And it's amazing that our company was prepared for something like this. And it gives us that edge to be able to help others. I've got so many real estate agents and teams and brokers and companies around here that still don't even know how to react. So I think we're going to come out ahead of it. I don't know where we are in the COVID piece. I mean, it depends on what news media you read. You know, I mean, I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I just, again, I don't feed into the negativity.
Awesome. Well, and I think that we can actually speak to that. I think that you could probably do an entire Power 30 or Power 60 or Power 90 on agent attraction and the way that you're attracting agents underneath you with EXP. But, you know, the piece that is just so intriguing to me is that we were already on this technology run, right? The world was going there. COVID just exploded it exponentially and pushed it forward so much faster. Yet here we sit with EXP with every tool we need, with all the backup that we need. Like, our business never had to miss a beat. Yep. You know, and I feel so blessed about that. And I feel like in a way that is actually just going to make EXP even bigger, right? Like now agents might be looking at us thinking, wow, you know, maybe it is the time to go more technology. Because I can tell you when I decided to sell my boutique firm of 15 years, I just knew I needed technology. Yeah. So, you know, I'm looking at 2 legacy firms that purchase tech companies, and then one tech firm that's like, you know, I think there could be a better way to do real estate. And Glenn killed it, right? So even though we were on this technology run, COVID exploded it, and here we sit. So we have 5 minutes left. And if you could talk maybe a little bit about agent attraction and what you found and what works for you. I know you don't recruit. I know you're not a seller. However, you're attracting agents to you. What do you think is going on there?
I treat them just like my clients, just like I would, right? I have authentic dialogue and conversations. So when we started on the EXP path, so my old company had 650 agents in my market center. And when I met Glenn, we had 400 agents nationally. And the reason I came to the company was not because of the platform, although he showed it to me and I didn't get it, quite frankly. Not because of revenue share. I had a number of agents at KW, but I was burned out because they couldn't support the agents and it was all on me, right? And I didn't really get his vision on the rev share. I loved what Stefan Swanepoel said, that we were the Amazon.com of real estate. And I was like, wait, this is awesome. And I loved Glenn and I loved Jason. And I truly believe people join people. And I believed them. And I wanted to get back to the basics. I wanted to get back to my passion for real estate, and they were going to allow me to do that. And so I took a chance on this little tiny company, but I also believe in seeking wise counsel. So my team leader at the time, he had retired, and I knew that I had to talk to somebody who knew something, because I didn't know what I didn't know, and it seemed too good to be true, right? And so I went to him, and we would sit in the back of a Starbucks that's in the back of a Barnes and Noble, so nobody would ever see us. Because Austin really is small. And if anybody saw us, they'd send back my license. And I just said, hey, tell me why I shouldn't do this. You know where I am at KW, just tell me I shouldn't do this, or poke holes in it. And so we explored it for about 5 months. And he met with Glenn for me and Jason for me. And he was like, hey, Elizabeth, man, if I were to do a real estate company, this is what I would do. I think you should do it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then he came to me one day and he goes, hey, I need you to meet with my wife, and we're going to tell her we're going to sell all of our market centers in a region, and we're going to do this together. And I'm like, wait, what are we doing together? So I had no idea. And that team leader was Gene Frederick. And so Gene and I, it's fun when you have a buddy and you have somebody that you align with and you believe in, you're like, okay, well, let's do this. And so Gene and I launched Texas, and then that's when it blew up. But it's really about the relationships. You know, don't call somebody and be like, hey, I want you to pick holes in this model. I mean, most everybody knows who EXP is now. Nobody really knew what it was before. And just have a conversation with them. How's your business? You know, how are things doing? How are you doing in the pandemic? Right? I'm having people reach out to me, quite frankly, because they're like, we're seeing what you guys are doing. You're producing, right? We see what you're doing. How are you providing value to your clients? How are you doing this? And I just get in a conversation with them and have coffee. Well, let's go talk. I want to know more about your business. I want to know more how we can support each other. I don't talk real estate. I don't talk EXP. But then I'll ask them, well, how's your company supporting you? Oh, that's interesting. Well, this is what we have. It's very, very different. We're just a very different model. And they will ask you questions, right? So don't go trying to recruit them. Go and approach them with the relationship. I talk about the relationships are key to me. How can we help each other? Hey guys, we do a huddle every, Wednesday. Why don't you join in? You don't have to be with our company. Join hey, I've got this class going on, or we have iConversations. You don't have to be a part of our company, but I think it'd be really awesome, right? So figure out what their pain points are and how our company can help them. We're not a fit for everybody, right? And that's okay. And I think the worst thing is for people to come to our company and we fail them. I felt like that's what we were doing at KW. And I'm not Catholic, but I should be because I have Catholic guilt. Like anytime somebody would leave, I'm like, how did we fail you? And KW would say, next, we'll just go get more. And I'm like, no, that's the wrong attitude. We've told them that we can help build their business. Right? The top agents aren't even in the business yet. I was brand new once. We were all brand new once. Who knew that we were going to do what we're doing? So I just truly try to add value. And if they start asking questions, for me, it's not a one and done kind of thing. I mean, I've got people that 2 years I've been talking to, and they always come back for a little bit more because they're watching us. So just do the right thing, work from integrity and be authentic, and people are going to be attracted to you for you. And they might be talking to some of the recruiters or some of the other people, but again, people join people. So I just, if somebody comes to the company under me, awesome. If they're not under me, awesome. We want great people to build this company. We all are owners. And so we all succeed and we win at a big level when we have great agents joining us.
I love it. Elizabeth, you've been an absolute pleasure. You gave us so many little pearls and nuggets of wisdom to take with us. I hear, I love your style. I can resonate with a lot of it. And I hear in everything you do, it's about the relationship. And at the end of the day, I agree that if there's a saying, be, do, have, right? Mm-hmm. If you be it and you do it, you will attract, you'll have it. And I really, really think of that when I hear you talking, whether it's about your family or your business. And, you know, that's another thing, the world, the cultural shift that's going on in the world right now, those two worlds are blending, right? Family and business. They're not as separate as they used to be. And it's cool to watch a mom and a kick-ass real estate agent who's like actually taken those worlds and meshed them. I don't think you're a hot mess. I think you got it going on. So
Yeah, I got you. That's what it is. But I will tell you, we had real quick. My friend Renee Funk. If you guys don't know her, she's out of Orlando, and she and her husband had a $20 million team came to EXP, and it's a $50 million team. It's pretty awesome to see those success stories. But Renee and I organically started a podcast called Leadership from the Heart. And we just were reaching out to leaders that we admired during the pandemic, trying to figure out how to lead in adversity. And it was just really within EXP, but it's expanded out from there. Last Thursday, we had Glenn Sanford on for the second time. So he was our first guest during the pandemic. We had him on last Thursday. And if you go to Facebook and find at Leadership from the Heart, his interview was really awesome. We've had a lot of feedback just because we wanted him to talk. We wanted him to share. And, you know, Glenn's very humble and very quiet for the most part. And if you look at how he shared with us the first time we had him on, and then kind of the confidence, our company, we have this major confidence boost now, right? After Verbella and after our earnings and after how the world's responding. But if you guys have some time, that was a really good interview with Glenn. And on the attraction side, I've been sending that interview out to people because I'm like, hey, I want you to hear from our founder. And so that's another really good one to see. But he shared a lot of great tidbits.
Awesome. Elizabeth, you've been a pleasure. Cody, you have anything to say?
I think you guys did amazing. Pam, you're going to be doing this more often, I hope. And Elizabeth, thank you. We know you're super busy, but great information you shared with us today.
Well, I'm blessed that you guys had me. So thank you so much. And if I ever can serve you guys, reach out to me on Workplace. I'd be honored to do so.
And likewise. Take care out there.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye, everyone. Go kill it today. Love you, Synergy.